really appreciate you inviting me to be here. So basically, as we all know, 1 in 5 Queenslanders do have a disability. A lot of those disabilities are actually hidden disabilities, so people may not realise it's as high as that. What I'm all for is an inclusive society. We can't have segregation regardless of what it's for, particularly with disability. I've grown up with many disabled people in my life. We went to the same school together. Their parents had to fight to actually get them to stay in mainstream school. And, they're still some of my best friends to this day. So, they're great people. They're really fun to be around. They have so much to offer, and that's what a lot of people don't realise. So I just think that we need to focus on including them to the best that we can into the society, making sure that we have teachers on board who know exactly how to be trained so that they're not excluding them in any way, shape or form. I don't like when you've got teachers going, oh, no, they can't possibly attend a school. No, they can, because many of the kids I went to school with, they did attend school. So, and they did quite well at school, given the opportunity and the right way to actually be taught. So, if you give people the time to learn, anyone can learn. It doesn't matter if, they have autism. It doesn't matter if, they have Down syndrome. There are many different ways to help children, particularly to learn. So I believe that we need access to affordable mainstream services. We can't it's kind of like the wedding scenario. The minute you say disability, the price doubles. So I just feel that we need to kind of have maybe a cap on the pricing structure, maybe similar to the Department of Veterans Affairs, so that, people can't overcharge for these services. I feel that they should be able to participate either in paid work or as a volunteer. I know a new initiative starting up in the Moreton Bay region where I live. They're called Restore Social Enterprises. They're actually trying to employ up to about 300 people over the next 3 years. And that's to help them get into the community, to earn a living, so that, they boost their morale and, boost their living standards, so that they're not having to rely on a support pension if they choose to be into the workforce and want to do that. So, it revolves around restoration of furniture and various other products like recycling core flutes from all the election stuff. So, it gives them something to work for and to be proud of. That's the biggest thing. I think they really have a sense of pride in themselves. So, it's good for people with disabilities. It's good for the country because it's good for the economy, and it just makes things better for everyone. I believe that, our disaster teams need better funding so that they've got adequate resources, perhaps to, deal with the emergencies that we've seen, like the floods. I just don't believe that it is right to leave anyone behind, regardless. If there's a will, there's a way. We have to help everyone. We can't just go, sorry, this is too hard. We can't put things in the too hard basket, and it shouldn't be too hard. Everyone should go and do the most they can to help anyone. It doesn't matter, regardless of disability. So I just feel that disability also does not end at 65. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of, that suddenly you turn 65 and your disability goes away and off the NDIS you go. It's not fair. We know it's not fair and it needs to get changed. So I really feel that if I'm elected, that's something that I'll really be focusing on, making sure that it's available to everyone. So the other thing I'd like to point out is I had a call from my mate Damien, who he went to mainstream school, and his mum wanted to say that, people like myself who advocated for her son, she's really thankful that there were people around to support him. And this is the biggest thing. We need greater support. So if we've got teachers, we need to speak to them and say to them, well, look, you're the biggest support person here. If you're on their cheer squad and you're helping them and helping other kids to understand that, yes, we're all different, but we all bring something to the table. And that's the biggest thing. We're the biggest community, but somehow we still manage to divide each other. It's like, it's just not right. And it shouldn't still be happening to this day. I just don't understand how we've created such a chasm between, you know, the disability community and mainstream schooling. It's just, we need acceptance. We need to change the mindset. So I just feel by doing that, that is how we will overcome this. So with the United Australia Party, we're planning on providing $40 billion to health, and that's directly. That's not going through the states, because we don't want the states dipping their hands in and taking their little bit of share out. We want this money directly to where it's needed. We'll also be providing $20 billion to education, because we know that everyone needs the right to learn. We also want to create a smart nation. We need a skilled nation. So it's for TAFE and for university. It's for our schools. We'll also be abolishing HECS and vet fee help and all of that. So no fees to actually get a higher education. It's available to anyone who is wanting to get a higher education. And as you know, many of our community members who do have a disability have actually gone on to actually have higher education degrees, and you know, they provide so much benefit to this community. I just feel that they're overlooked, and I think it doesn't matter what your socioeconomic status is. Once we've abolished HECS fees, we won't have this issue. It won't be a hurdle then, and we'll be able to get everyone into higher education so that we can have a skilled workforce. The other thing we'd like to do is actually to end all the mandates, because right now we have people out of work who are in this industry who should be in their jobs. And we just we can't afford to have them out of work when we desperately need people. We desperately need the people in the disability services industry. So creating all of these incentives to actually boost the industry and look after the people, and also consulting with community, consulting with people living with disabilities. It's another thing that we just feel it all needs to be brought onto the table for a greater discussion. And all parties, regardless of which political party they are, we all need to address these issues. We can't just keep going and burying our heads in the sand and going, oh yes, let's hope it just solves itself. It's not going to solve itself. We need open discussions, and we need to sit down and discuss it in a mature manner and work out what we need to do. Because at the end of the day, people with disabilities need to be given a fairer go. And that's the Australian way, a fair go. Our party leader, Craig Kelly, as I'm sure some of you or most of you may know, he has a son with a disability. And, you know, he is the strongest advocate for people with disabilities. You know, he lives it day in, day out. So he knows exactly what goes on. But his words really hit home to me. So he actually said, Australians can make a difference. Now, notice Australians. We are all Australian. It doesn't matter disability. It doesn't matter your race, your gender, none of it. We are all one. So therefore, we can all make a difference. So together we will stand up, and together we will create the change. And together we will make a better tomorrow. And that's exactly what we all need to do. We need to make a better tomorrow, not just for some, but for everyone. Thanks very much. And yeah, I hope my views are somewhat, you know, on the same page as many of you.